Hey there, my name is Olivia. I'm the founder of the EmpowHer Society and salary coaching for women, and truth be told, I'm part of an underground movement of women who are looking to empower other women so that they take back control of their careers and what they earn. And we're looking to close the gender wage gap, right? Now, I just wanted to pop in and share this quick story with you because maybe it relates. You see, I started all starry-eyed out of college, hoping to get a job and to really make millions of dollars and land those dream visions that I had for myself when I was a young child. You know, I hoped to be a millionaire one day, and I hoped to run a company of thousands of people, and if not, well, maybe at least have a really good job that would pay me six figures and I'd be super happy. Maybe I'd be a doctor, a dentist, an astronaut, something along those lines. But I don't know about you, maybe this has been your experience, maybe not, but the workforce was not very kind to me. You see, I graduated college right before the Great Recession, and what that meant was, well, let me tell you, the first interview I ever had for a job, I went to Tufts University, which is in Boston. It's surrounded by all these like super prestigious Ivy Leagues, right? There's MIT, there's Harvard, and amazing, really good schools. So the first interview I had out of college, the interviewer literally called me a failure, looked at my resume, looked at my transcript, and said, "You are an absolute failure. Why would I hire you rather than someone from MIT or Harvard or any of the hundreds of other schools in the area? Get out of my office." I was like, ah. So that was hit number one, right? I did not give up. I landed my first job, from which I thought things were going well and didn't pay me really good money, but you know, it allowed me to feel like I was contributing to something until the recession hit. And I got laid off and ushered out by two security guards with my cardboard box out of the building. And I thought that was humiliation enough. That was like, I thought the most humiliating point in my career that I would ever face. Lo and behold, what ensued after was actually even more humiliating. I applied to 1,231 jobs, literally 1,231 jobs. And I know this because in order to go and claim an unemployment check, I had to have my list right there and my resume right there. And this one time, after I applied to 1,231 jobs, gotten only 5 interviews and 0 job offers, even McDonald's had rejected me. I went to the unemployment office to get my check. I'm like supremely demoralized because not only did I want a job, but I was so far from that vision of wanting to leave a legacy for my family, wanting to feel like, you know, my grandkids years down the line would be able to talk about how proud they were that I was their grandma. And I just felt really bad. I felt so humiliated as it was, right? Because there's nothing more exciting to feel worthy, not only of a paycheck, but of contributing something to society. But I was not there at this point in time, so I was in the line claiming my unemployment check. And when I go up to the clerk, he looks at the list of jobs, sees those McDonald's rejections there, and looks at my resume and goes, I guess that expensive East Coast education didn't pay off, did it? And I snapped. I didn't even make it out of the building. I collapsed to the ground and started bawling. I hit rock bottom. Now, in those tears, I was just bawling. There were thousands of people there because at this point in time, there was massive unemployment, and I was just bawling. I didn't care that there were so many people there surrounding me and looking at just me in utter misery. But in that moment of misery, this tiny little voice of me said, "You know what? Enough. Enough." And I had this moment of epiphany where I realized, you know what? It's not you. It's not you who's the problem. It's just that the system you've been working with is broken. You're not getting to your dream opportunity because in the first place, you don't know what that dream opportunity is. And you don't know how to actually go ahead and get it. You're doing what everything You're doing everything that society has told you that you need to do, right? You're applying through the online portals, you're brushing up your resume, you're pursuing leads, and nothing's panning out. Why? Because that system doesn't work. But furthermore, if you also on top of that don't know what you want and you don't have clarity as to where you're headed and what it is that purpose that lives deep within you is meant to be doing and meant to be flourishing out in this world as, you're never going to land it. You're always going to be spinning your wheels and just finding yourself on that hamster wheel, going and going and going and never finding satisfaction. So I realized this, and the minute I had that epiphany, I changed completely my approach to trying to land my dream job. And furthermore, I changed my mindset. I realized, you know what? It's the process that's wrong. It's not me who's wrong. I just haven't looked inside enough to figure out what it is that I want, what is my why, and how do I go about achieving it. And once I made those changes, literally within a matter of weeks, I landed my dream job at the International Development Bank, which is the equivalent of the World Bank, but for Latin America, managing people and budgets all over the region, like all over the continent, which is insane. I went to managing millions of dollars from being rejected at McDonald's. Crazy enough. And then furthermore, I tested this again. When I moved towns because it was my husband's turn to go to business school, I was like, all right, let's try this. Let's see if my way works again. Because I was really jarred. After 1,231 rejections, I was not going back. But I'd only tested my theory once. But then I went on to test it again, and I landed a really cushy job in a corner office at an Ivy League institution. And I was like, yes, I've nailed it. This absolutely works. Because I was also fairly young too, right? So to be able to do that and do it twice in a row, I was like, man, this is cool. But then I did hit another roadblock where I was like, you know, my job was to set salaries for women and for men too. So, you know, one day I was reading this article by Sheryl Sandberg on, I think it was a Wall Street Journal or New York Times, something like that, on the gender wage gap and how companies were to blame and the government wasn't doing enough. And I actually got really mad because I was setting salaries for women and for men, and I was being completely impartial to gender and all of those other things that, well, you should be impartial to. So I actually went out to prove that there was no gender wage gap. And I started looking at the thousands of salary settings that I'd done over the different companies that I worked for over the years. And I realized that whenever I'd recommended a salary range between 0 and 100, let's just, for ease of purposes here, 0 to 100, I'd give that recommendation to the hiring manager so that they would hire someone into the position. Well, inevitably, the guy would be hired hovering around the 50th percentile, like around 50. And when it was a female being hired, she was being hired hovering around the 25th percentile. So I'm like, whoa, what gives here? What? So I did a little bit of research. I kind of dove down that rabbit hole to see what is really happening. Because I was being neutral to gender and any kind of the differences that shouldn't really matter when setting somebody's salary. But when it came down to it, it was that women were either accepting whatever was being put forth to them without negotiating, or even if they knew what they were worth, they didn't actually know how to advocate for it. So at that point, I was like, you know what? This is my calling. This is what I know how to do, and I know how to do it really well. So that's when I quit my cushy job to start salary coaching for women in the EmpowHer Society. And this is what you see today, which is a movement of women who've decided that, you know what? I'm done with listening to society. I'm done with listening to all of this advice on how I should get this degree, how I should do these things, and how I should apply to these jobs, and how I should negotiate this way, and not land your dream job. Listen, the EmpowHer Society is all about pursuing your purpose and doing it in a way that will actually get there. I'm all about taking action and empowering you, but not if it's in the wrong direction. So I want you to understand that this is what we do. This is why we have the EmpowHer Society, to not only help you figure out your dream, but also help keep you accountable to it and keep you empowered. Because listen, I know that life happens and there's so much out there that we cannot control. But there are things that you can control. You can control your vision, where you want to do, what do you want to do, what your purpose is. You can control why you want it. What is driving you to be that greatest version of yourself? And you can also control the motivation. Who you hang out with and who you associate with can either deplete you or empower you. And this is why we have the EmpowHer Society. So I hope you'll check it out and come join us, because the truth is, when it comes down to it, I know that inside of you, there's an inner genius begging to come out. And guess what? When you're living in that genius zone, when you bring out your purpose into the world, it's a matter of days, months, even weeks before the money finds you. And that, I've got to be honest, as someone who's an expert in compensation, in salaries, and everything that has to do with money, I see so many women go the wrong route. They chase the money, they say, I want this position because it's gonna pay me this, rather than saying, I want to be me. I want to be that genius that comes out to play and everybody knows it. Everybody sees that you're so freaking good at what you do because it's palpable. It's your genius zone and you're so much better at it than anybody else. And that is when money finds you. I'm not a proponent of you going out and chasing dollars. Dollars should be chasing you, right? I want you to understand this is your career, right? Let's think of your career and your genius zone as this. Right? Then your job is going to be basically a stream of income for your genius zone. But when you're living in this zone, there's so many other ways that money comes finding you. So if you're kind of stuck, focused in on looking for the money, looking for the dollars, you lose sight of playing in your zone of genius. And when you're not playing in your zone of genius, money can't find you. So this is why we put together the EmpowHer Society. In it, you're gonna find some incredible goodies. And I encourage you to come and check it out, because let's face it, it's time you live your purpose. You earn what you deserve and you live up to that vision that you know you've always wanted to live up to. So I hope you'll join us, and I hope I'll see you in our next coaching call.